imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And so, even as a young man, teenager, I love it, and I was joking about this earlier, but I gave myself a name. You know, I was like, so I would see brothers, and my name is interesting because I see Cream was hat. So the name I gave myself was Cream Wise Allah. And I gave myself that because Cream Wise your top. And I got this really from just, and then I've learned what the letters meant. See, rule, equality, Allah, master, wisdom, Islam, savior, equality. It's just, so all that stuck with me. And even, and you were saying, they say when brothers are ciphering or when they, because I was saying, oh man, he spanked his brain. So, just the visualization of having your brain spanked. And so, so the impact, I think, within the school system, it's a term or a phrase or a concept that you would not hear mentioned. Ever. A teacher is not likely to ever mention anything closely associated with the nation of God's and earth. If you mention the nation of God's earth, I would gather to say that 90% of teachers have no clue because they're fearful of what may happen to them if they were to be associated in any way with anything being righteous or right or justice within our culture. Even a teacher, I remember years back, a young sister was lambasted because she did libation. And they said, she's practicing voodoo. So the misinterpretation of the culture, of our culture is rampant. But it goes back to what the brother said about not being afraid. The problem within the urban setting is that teachers, administrators are afraid. Those of us who are not afraid, we become victimized as a result of the system. So when people do, they'll look at a principal who's been unjustly criticized or fired or removed, and then they say, well, I don't want that fate to be my fate, so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to be quiet. And so, whereas we should be embracing, when I was a superintendent, I gathered black principals primarily together. And some of them, they had to sneak in the room, but they didn't want to be seen necessarily that they were coming. But one of the first things I did when I became the super, when I did these meetings, I invited Mallah-Divine front and center because I wanted everyone to know who I associate with and the power and the respect that I have for him and for the nation. So the impact is, whatever it is within the urban setting, it could be much more if we weren't afraid to embrace the teachings. Even now, it's safe to say Malcolm X. There was a time when it wasn't safe to say Malcolm X in the school. You can only say King. You can only say King. And so, it's sort of...
Please, can I just add on the hills of Bernard, is that you talk about fear. This is a fearless man that he was in the administration of Joe Klein. And Joe Klein was the chancellor of New York City Board of Education. And this was the third man at a salary of $193,000 a year. And he walked away from that because the chancellor was beholden to the mayor of the city. And he made that known that the chancellor not supposed to be beholden to the mayor of the city. He's supposed to be beholden to the children and the youth whose education he's charged with to impart. All right, so this is a fearless man who stood on principle of his word and his commitment to the youth and their education.